Joining us here on NDTV, I've got with me a very special guest, someone who I turn to for not just information but also advice when it comes to the automobile industry, Dr. Pawan Goenka from Mahindra & Mahindra. Good to see you.
Good to be here again.
And Pawan, it's always nice when you're here in Delhi because then I can catch up with you. So appreciate
we have
your
Taj
time.
Mahal behind us in Delhi.
Well, that's not quite Delhi, but we'll still make do with that. Let me first start by asking you, I think, what just the overall sense or the theme seems to be in the industry at this time, which is almost a sense of despair, panic, that look, everything that we thought could go wrong went wrong, and now we are only digging deeper. Is most of that justified?
Well, I think there's an overreaction. Notwithstanding the fact that Mahindra is doing well, even if I leave that aside, I don't see a fundamental reason why there should be a panic situation or a crisis situation right now, because what is wrong? If you were to see why the sales are not happening, to me it is just a mindset right now, just the feeling of things are not going right. And it can change very quickly. One budget, if Mr. Chidambaram puts down something that people see as a brighter next year, things could change very easily. So I don't see a reason for despair. Of course, this year has been very bad. Nobody had expected the year to be what it turned out to be. But I think we are overreacting.
But still, it's time to hunker down and sort of brace yourself for a tough year.
Undoubtedly. And it's always good to have a tough year every once in a while, because that brings us down to earth and realistic about how we should plan our future investments, future products, and so on. But if you look at the year this year, what's clearly coming out is that the industry is polarizing around products, around companies. And it's not even around companies, it's around products. And if you have successful product, everything is fine. If you don't, you're in trouble. And product is becoming the king.
Which is perhaps a good thing in the long run.
Which is perhaps a good thing. Not perhaps a good thing, it is a good thing.
It is a good thing. The point you made about the budget, let me sort of get that out of the way, because we are now pretty much close to that day, and as always, there's expectations for the auto industry. But auto industry aside, the point you're making about the larger sentiment, what's happening in the country right now, do you think that it's fair to expect something from the finance minister, given that elections are about a year away?
Yeah, I think if there is 1 year when you should expect a good budget, this is the year. And the reason I'm saying that is the finance minister.
When you say good, you mean populist?
No, not populist. So a good
economically
budget,
good.
economically good budget,
Okay.
Not a populist budget.
All right.
And the reason of course, there will be pressure to have populist budget because this is the last full budget that the finance minister will do before the elections. But even then, the FM has come back to this position after being out for 4 or 5 years. He knows that the economy is doing very poorly. He is an expert. He knows all his numbers very well. Nobody needs to tell him that. And therefore, and he really is very serious about turning around things. He has put down his red lines at 5.3 and 4.8, which he says, I'm not going to cross. He has said, I'm not going to make any large new taxation. He's saying, I'm not going to cut lots of subsidies. I don't know how the math will work out, but he has given all the signals since he's taken office that he means business. And this is his chance to demonstrate that he means business. So therefore, I do consider, I do think that we are going to get a economically good budget this year. Of course, there will be some populist elements. You cannot avoid it. After all, the government is going to have to look after the future of the government also. But I think overall it should be a good budget.
So in your view then, does it, well, we shouldn't sort of comment before the budget arrives, I suppose. So there's no definite picture here. But in terms of expectations, would you expect that the consumer at the end of the day will just have a more positive sentiment on his mind and B, more cash in hand?
Well, see, I won't really actually even talk about cash in hand, because cash in hand is not as important as a prospect for growth. Okay? And the prospect for growth will actually come by announcing some tough measures where things are going to pinch for a while, whether you are rich or poor. Things will have to pinch if you're going to have to make some tough measures to turn around the economy, which means you may have to look at some subsidies that are perhaps not adding to the economy and question whether we need to have those subsidies. Subsidies should be more growth oriented, which add to the future and not for substance for this year. You will have to look at some taxes somewhere, not a sort of a macro change in tax rate, but some things will have to happen, some loopholes may have to be removed. So I think everybody will probably have to sacrifice a bit. The government has to become less spending government. So everybody will have to give in something, pitch in something if you really want to turn around the economy. And I think that's what the FM should be doing this year, where he would not be looking at which section he cannot touch and looking more at what do I need to do to be fair, equitable, at the same time put in enough fuel in the economy for it to grow.
So from your industry's point of view then, the expectation is for this overall picture to sort of start to improve rather than specific measures.
Absolutely.
For auto.
Absolutely. There will be some specific measures for some course correction. But if you were to ask me, am I looking for an excise duty reduction, the answer is no. In fact, if it doesn't increase, that will be fine. So I'm not at all expecting any kind of reduction in duties or taxes. I'm hoping that there will be no increase in something like diesel tax, which will be disaster for the industry overall and specifically for Mahindra and Mahindra. I am hoping that the electric vehicles, which the government is so positive about, they will demonstrate that yes, they're serious about electric vehicles. Something will come out for electric vehicles, but that's a very small thing in terms of overall scheme of things in terms of cash flow back and forth. But other than that, I'm not looking for anything very specific for the industry. What I'm looking for is creating the positive sentiment by virtue of real numbers and not virtuous numbers.